Good afternoon, everybody. That's my take on Mike and the Mad Dog. Happy Friday, everyone. It's Friday, March 11th. Back to a bigger Friday slate after the fun two-gamer last night. And let's dive right in. Mike, how you doing? You having a good Friday so far?
Doing good. Yeah, got some new music to listen to. Benny the
Yep.
Butcher, been loving it after a hip hop talk.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff, man. So
Yeah, it was
Butcher
a lot of
coming.
fun. A lot of fun. We'll see. Maybe we'll have a follow-up hip-hop game when another short slate as the season goes on. Although we only have about a month left of the regular season, so
Yeah,
all these games meaningful, and all these injuries very meaningful in turn. So let's dive in there. Let's start with some of the big outs here. So CJ McCollum out for the Pelicans, in addition to Brandon Ingram, is still out with the hamstring. Obviously, kind of hamstrings the Pelicans quite a bit, not having those two guys. So, what do we think for New Orleans tonight? I think we both kind of like Charlotte in this matchup.
yeah. I bet Charlotte, probably the hardest I've ever bet. I saw that line last night. I was like, "Yo, like Hornets, you burn me all the time. Don't do it again."
Yeah.
But yeah. So before talking about CJ, like they were talking about after he was into Orlando, just the lack of like ball creation and like lack of just sharing the ball. So
Yeah.
like I think, and they were talking about even changing the lineup before the CJ news. So now it's even more of a stressful thing. Devontae Graham's not really like an offensive shot creator; he's more of a shot maker. So you need more people that can kind of get their own shot and create. So who's like the opposite of that? Tony Snell, right? So
Right.
it makes sense to me to pull him out and put either Trey Murphy in or Najee Marshall in. Galaxy braining it up. I maybe saw a starter jersey on Trey Murphy under a T-shirt.
Oh boy.
So, and that's my guess. I think it makes more sense. And they talked about his energy and his improved defense. He's been playing better in the G League. So to me, it makes sense that Trey Murphy starts here. Again, for the reasons I just said, and I think they'll trust his defense in a really, really tough spot. He'll probably have to guard Miles Bridges a bunch, which sets up Bridges for a possible smash. But yeah, I'm definitely going to see a lot more of Devontae Graham, a lot of Jose Alvarado, definitely more Najee Marshall, definitely more Trey. I don't think Tony Snell's affected much, honestly. Obviously, JV is going to be fed like a madman. We saw earlier in the year when Brandon Ingram was out, they just fed him the ball. He was getting like 30 usage rates all day.
Yeah.
So yeah, JV could be really, really going off on Mason Plumlee and Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah, I love Joe Val tonight. I mean, just usage alone should be through the roof. He's coming through as one of the top values. You guys will talk about that behind the paywall at 5:00. But yeah, all right. So that's the Pels. We'll see. Keep an eye on their start.
And yeah, just to hit this question, Herb's going to guard LaMelo. Like, there's almost no doubt in my mind there. And Rozier will get Rozier and Graham will get each other. So that's a really, really good spot for Rozier. I was like really pumped about him tonight. I'm like never pumped on Rozier, but this is like one of the best Rozier spots I've seen in a while.
Yeah, and Rozier's been balling, no doubt about it. Yeah, the potential lineup be Graham, Herb, Murphy.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it might be Alvarado though. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, man. Like, they really, really like that dude. Yeah. So either way, especially if I think this game's a blowout, despite the tiny spread that's growing. So Alvarado is. I don't know what his price is yet, but he's got my attention for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So keep an eye there. Other outs here for the Mavericks have a couple guys out. Jalen Brunson out once again. Dorian Finney, I guess he came back last game, out again here. Dorian Finney-Smith also out for the Mavs. So, that definitely makes them a little shorthanded. Frank Ntilikina is questionable. But obviously, still without Tim Hardaway, they have the Rockets tonight. So definitely one of the matchups we love to attack, particularly on the perimeter. So how do you see this shaking out for Dallas here?
Yeah, we know part of it's easy, and that's Spencer Dinwiddie he's going to start for Jalen Brunson. That's pretty much a lock. And yeah, actually, his splits with Luka aren't great, but it could be a really good spot because if Jae'Sean Tate starts, or even KJ Martin, they're going to get Luka, and that's not easy because a lot of the Rockets don't usually do that. They usually just let their guards guard the guard. Sorry for saying that so many times, but they'll put Jae'Sean Tate or KJ Martin on them and kind of mix it up and cross match. Although Luka would probably guard the other guy, so I guess it's not a cross match. But Yeah. So my point is, I think Dinwiddie could go ham. His stats have not been very good in I think a 70-minute sample with Luka without Brunson, but just the matchup could be so good for him. He likes to drive and get to the basket. That's what we look for in guys to attack with the Rockets. So yeah, he would benefit. Luka's got really good numbers without Brunson, even with Dinwiddie on the court, so he can go ham despite maybe a bad matchup. He is a little banged up though, hurt his back in the last game. We saw him miss a game for his foot, so definitely keep an eye on that. But on the front court, Dorian Finney-Smith, pretty much a straight swap. I think they just go to Maxi Kleber, but then you're moving Maxi Kleber out, so therefore you're moving up Dwight Powell in a really good matchup. The Rockets cannot protect the basket, so
Yep.
That would up Bertans a little bit. We've seen Bertans be the backup center even against the Warriors, so in this spot here, makes a whole lot of sense. To get him more playing time. So yeah, a lot of value going against the worst defense in the NBA. So the Magic would be interesting tonight for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Dinwiddie, small sample there still next to Luka.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we know just in general, he's looked like a different guy than he was in Washington. So some encouragement there. Keep an eye.
Yeah, I'll add too. He was he took a shot at Washington. He was like, yeah, they didn't want me to score. He was like, yeah, they want me to facilitate and stuff. Like, all right, yeah, we know all those times that he failed us when Bradley Beal was out, but
I'd say
front office, not him.
Some expanded opportunity for Maxi Kleber too. I know we have him projected for a pretty big role here right now, so keep an eye. There could be some interesting secondary pieces on Dallas there. Going to Utah, Bojan Bogdanovic is out tonight. Obviously, besides that, they're pretty healthy. But who do you expect to start in Bojan's place?
Should be Daniel House. I don't think they would pull Jordan Clarkson out. I'd be shocked if they put Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Hernan Gomez, or whoever. They've trusted House a lot with that first unit, so it seems pretty close to me that he would be starting and getting, pretty close to 75%, 80% of the minutes. I think that Bojan would get. Although this matchup's going to play pretty small here, 1 through 4, especially without Keita Bates-Diop. So you could certainly get away going more of the 3-guard lineup with Jordan Clarkson, Donnie Mitch, and Conley. So I think Clarkson's minute ceiling is a little bit higher and up-tempo game, not the best matchup. The Spurs take away the 3-point line. So Clarkson's kind of a low-key beneficiary.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you there. All right, let's dive into Qs. Not as many as on Wednesday, not even close, which is good for a 10-gamer here. Let's start with LeBron. All season long, or at least, last couple months, we were looking at these as kind of, just token questionable tags, nothing much. But then he missed a couple of days ago. Was back on Wednesday night, had the triple-double against Houston in that loss. Should we expect LeBron to go here tonight? And Taylor Horton-Tucker also popped up on the injury report before.
Yeah, so here's the injury report. Yeah, you got the Taylor Horton-Tucker was supposed to play. He was probable, got called a game time, had ankle soreness. So, definitely going to be a game time again for sure. So that's interesting to see. And then, LeBron had some actually really eye-opening quotes because everyone, including myself, is like, the Lakers keep losing, just shut them down. That's the big talking point now. And he was asked about that, and he said he's going to want to play regardless if he's suiting up just because he was playing basketball so much.
Yeah.
We'll see if that holds up. We'll see if his knee holds up, but for whatever it's worth, he added that he felt a lot better because he got a lot of treatment Tuesday to make him play on Wednesday after missing that last game. So he's going to be, and just pulling up the slate here, this is, I talked about this a little bit in matchups, but this is not the usual LeBron questionable tag anymore, in my opinion, because you wait to see how he feels after missing that last one. But total island game, right? The only 10:30 Eastern game out there after everything's an hour and a half before. So we're going to have no idea if he's playing. So you could really paint yourself into a corner if you're leaning on LeBron. Really,
really good point there. And it's not like your pivot options would be great. And obviously we don't want to talk
Kuzma,
about the DFS side too much, but it's you'll probably end up leaving a lot of salary on the table in those instances. So be careful the way you approach it, but could
such a good, if he is available midday, he's in such a good spot, man.
Yeah, I agree.
He will kill this team if he's available.
I totally agree with you. All right, let's go to Minnesota. Once again, they have a ton of their rotation guys, with straight up question marks. Anthony Edwards came back last game, questionable still here with the patella. Jordan McLaughlin, questionable. Jared Vanderbilt, questionable. Taurean Prince, questionable. How do you see this going for Minnesota? Do you have any leans here one way or the other for some of these dudes?
Important to note, it is a back-to-back, and they do get Miami tomorrow, a much tougher matchup. Also, I think the most likely player to sit, in my opinion, is going to be Jared Vanderbilt. According to Chris Finch, he said that his sore leg is bothering him. He said, quote, he needed a break more than anyone. So I think he's got a chance to sit. That'll put Jalen McDaniels in the mix in a bigger matchup against, he doesn't usually guard guys as big as Wendell Carter Jr. or Mo Bamba. So it will be interesting and kind of make it a little bit more of attractive for those guys if Vanderbilt did sit. I think Edwards is okay. I think he's going to be able to suit up. McLaughlin's injury is new. Don't have many details on that. Got dinged up in the last game. Taurean Prince is questionable. It's all just questionable back-to-backs. It's the first game of the day, so we'll definitely know. But the only guy I'm like, and obviously, anything on Prince and Vanderbilt are probably the two most likely to sit, I think.
Yeah, and tomorrow's a much tougher matchup in Miami. Not that, and you mentioned also today on through, but I think Orlando's been playing some pretty good defense. Late,
number 2 since the break.
So it's not like this is a cakewalk in Orlando, but I think they probably have their eyes set on tomorrow as far as competitiveness and concern there. So, keep an eye there, see what happens. Obviously, if Edwards sits, I think you always have to bump, D'Lo and Cat just from a usage perspective. But yeah, I mean, if Vanderbilt or McLaughlin or Prince, like definitely can bump these Malik Beasley, Jaden McDaniels types who Beasley, I mean, we just saw coming off an 11 3-point game, was in the winning lineups, perfect lineups the other night. So man, that guy's coming to the point where he should be used in all GPP builds, pretty regularly.
He's on fire. And I'll add too, Chris Finch said he wasn't in shape earlier this year.
Oh, really?
He wasn't ready. He had like that kind of off season where he got in trouble. Yeah. But he's been freaking crazy good, man. And their offense is clicking. I think number 2 offense since the break. They're just every single player in the rotation has like 120 offensive ratings, and since the break, like they're just mashing on offense every single game.
Totally
soft schedule, but still.
All right, to Miami, where the same 2 guys that we've seen questionable for a while here, Jimmy Butler and Caleb Martin, both questionable again. Butler with the sinus congestion. I think this is the first time in the history of injury reports that we've had 2 sinus congestion question marks. Doug McDermott, we'll get to him in a little bit, also questionable for sinus congestion. But anyway, do you expect Jimmy to go and Caleb Martin to a lesser extent as well?
I don't know, man. Taking a Allegra or something, or get a. I don't know what if he has like allergy sinus issues.
Get a Sudafed.
Sudafed, yeah. But I don't know. I thought he was playing the last game, probably game time. Mentioned they do play tomorrow too against the Wolves, so maybe that's a factor to sit him. Spoelstra has those quotes where he says he's going to use the whole roster. So don't know. Caleb Martin is a legit injury. This is something new. Hyperextended knee. I'm not expecting him to play.
Okay.
So that would open up Max Strus to get a little bit more run after Jimmy kind of cut him out earlier. Same with Gabe Vincent. He was starting in the last game in a much different matchup, though. You're going up against the Suns. You want ball handling in a big way there. Cleveland, I don't think you need it quite as much. You'd rather have the size and the spacing, although Gabe's a really good shooter. But I wouldn't be surprised if Gabe doesn't start, if Jimmy doesn't play. But again, we're thinking Jimmy's going to suit it up today.
Okay, so if they both did sit, and you don't think Gabe goes here, would you think it's Strus in this spot to start? Yeah,
I think it's still Vincent's the favorite.
Yeah,
but I don't feel confident about it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be an interesting spot. I mean, it's against Cleveland, so okay-ish, whatever matchup. But there could be value coming from that spot. So we'll talk about it later. You and Dink will talk about it later. See what those. We should get. I don't know. That's an 8:00 game, so it could go down to game time. You might have to be ready to make some moves.
We might get the Miami intention to play thing.
Right.
I mean, it's a sinus thing. He shouldn't need to. He should know if he's going to play.
Yeah, I would imagine. Houston, same big Q tags here. They are at home against Dallas, so obviously a terrible matchup. But Christian Wood, question.
Well, not as bad now without Dorian.
That's a great point. Great point. DFS is out. Not as bad, but still not the best matchup here. For team defense wise, right? Christian Wood. So Christian Wood, questionable illness. Jayshawn Tate, questionable with an ankle. Dennis Schroeder, questionable with an ankle as well. We saw Schroeder suit up in the last game, and Tate and Wood missed. That's right? I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, so we saw KJ Martin and Alperen Sengun start. Both of them pretty successful in this game against the Lakers on Wednesday. Sengun, as you called, his career high in points, and he did come through with that. Both him and KJ Martin, 40 minutes in that overtime performance. Would you expect to see more of the same if Wood or Tate missed here?
Yeah, definitely Sengun season. Christian Wood didn't go through shoot around. But I always say, like a player not going through shoot around when they're ill isn't really a big deal. We saw that with Mitchell Robinson in the last game. He didn't go through shoot around, came out there and was terrific.
Yeah, I thought he was going to sit, and he was very good.
Yeah. So, that hurt my. Although the Mavericks going, I think 2 of 25 on like wide open threes, something outrageous.
Yeah, they
definitely was a bigger factor.
They could not hit a
But,
shot. But hey,
yeah, it's crazy.
the Knicks on a 3-game winning streak. One of
Yeah,
them.
man. That's what's up. I'm pretty pumped for that game tonight. With
if they could beat if they could beat Morant in Memphis tonight, I'll believe that they're onto something here.
Here we go.
But until then,
yeah, Schroeder is probably just a questionable tag.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously we talked about Şengün and Jalen Green, but Josh Christopher, three rookie career high gains, and how bad are the Lakers right now? But yeah, if and again, like, man, taking Dorian out really changes things in my opinion, because you're going for KPJ is going from, he'll probably see maybe more Dinwiddie here, because they would have thrown Dorian in him, and now they're not going to obviously do that. Reggie Bullock maybe guard him instead, but big upgrade there.
Yeah.
Jalen Green's been handling the ball. We saw him do more ball handling. It was still KPJ kind of setting up the offense, but they had more of he was more of like a combo guard, Green was, rather than being like a straight scorer and reactionary scorer. But those guys would definitely benefit. Obviously, if Jayshawn Tate doesn't go, you're looking right to KJ Martin. Again, pretty good matchup here. He's going to probably have Luka on him. I think he can take advantage of that. Silas says he wants to give them the ball more. We saw the shots. 12 shots in 40 minutes is pretty good. Double. You can add some defensive stats. So he would be a really, really interesting play if these guys are all out.
Yeah, totally. Going next there. I mean, OB questionable for the Knicks to return here. I mean, slightly notable, given that they, are without Cam and without Nerlens still, without Grimes. Obviously Kemba. So I don't know if he's coming back on this one. I haven't read too much, but hamstrings are always a little bit, iffy. So any lean on Obi, and maybe it would eat into, I don't know, I guess it could eat into Randall's ultimate ceiling just a tad. I mean, he wasn't getting more than like 14 minutes a night anyway.
Yeah, I don't think it would get him, too much down. You would lose maybe a little minute ceiling off of some of the guards, right? Because they were running kind of smaller at the 4, running Alec Burks more as a forward than as
that's true.
So that would kind of cut Quickly's upside down a little bit. Quickly's been playing a ton, and so he'd be slightly affected. Yeah, Deuce may get cut down a little bit. Yeah. They just been running a little bit smaller.
That would be the biggest mistake they could possibly make if they cut Deuce.
Oh my God.
I mean, what a freaking! Right. He's going to be on if he gets the real rotation role. He might be on your perimeter defender list sooner than later. He's something else.
Yeah, he's good.
But I obviously am a homer as well. Anyway, worth noting. Yeah, because you're right. Quickly's been not only playing a lot, but been balling and has been relevant for DFS purposes. So that's worth keeping an eye on. San Antonio, we talked about the other sinus congestion questionable. Doug McDermott is questionable here. Keita Bates-Diop was questionable, and so is Primo. They're both out. So a little bit thin for the Spurs, particularly if McDermott can't go. Do you have a lean on McDermott? And if not, any thoughts on how the starting lineup looks for San Antonio?
Yeah, no lean. I'm not my mom's a pharmacist, but I'm not a sinus questionable tag expert. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, if he doesn't play, no KBD, man, we could get big minutes out of Keldon.
Yeah.
Especially without Boyan. He'll probably see the Daniel House matchup, which I think he can take advantage of. He's got a lot of strength to kind of plow through him. Add more minutes of Vassell. They would just run, like I said earlier with the Jazz stuff. This could be really small 1 through 4.
Yeah.
So these Vassells and Keldons, Josh Richardson probably wouldn't be in play, but those guys could get a lot of playing time. Maybe they see more Trey Jones. You wouldn't go there, but this game's sneaky good, man. Like all of Utah's defensive stats just got skewed because the stupid Blazer game boosted them up. But they're definitely a defense that's not nearly as good as they were over the past few years.
Yeah, I think McDermott's, it's particularly there's going to be all those kind of secondary, tertiary Spurs options in play. Maybe not Richardson, but Lonnie and Vassell and Keldon for sure.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, keep an ear and eye there. It's a small questionable tag for the player itself, but for the ramifications, it's a little bit bigger.
The no KBD factor adds such another layer to it.
Yeah, totally. All right, Boston. Grant Williams, you would think, obviously, again, similar thing. Like for him himself, doesn't really matter the questionable tag, but the Celtics run tight rotations, so you take out 25-ish minutes from that rotation, and it changes things for Boston. So he showed up on the injury report later, I believe.
This afternoon.
He was like a 1:30 or 12:30 ad Eastern. That's never necessarily a great sign, but it's illness, so who the hell knows? So hard to have a lead on Grant Williams, but if he does not go, who do you see filling in those minutes?
I think they go to Tice, and they'll play Horford more of like a straight 4-man. and add more minutes to his ceiling, it would be a really good Time Lord spot, I think, too. So I don't think they're going to if the Pistons can hang. It's worth noting too. Pistons are the Sixers the Celtics I think are 14-2 in their last 16, and they lost to the Pistons in one of those games, and the Pistons played them tight and the other time they played too. So Pistons have been playing really good ball. I think someone told me they're like 10-0 against the spread or something. But so that would really benefit the rotate, like the starters. I think the starters would get really big run if the Pistons could hang.
That's what I think.
Yeah. So that's something to look at. It would help Derek White. They would just fill the minutes with all the other rotation players, and then bring in Tice for a little bit more as the 8th man. So
that's what I was going to say. I also felt like
well,
if they were to take out 25 Grant Williams minutes or so, I feel like Derek White would go up from like 23 to more to high 20s. So make him somewhat.
Yeah, they would fill him with Pritchard, White, and then a little bit of Tice, and then the starters, front court guys would get a much higher minute ceiling.
Yep, totally. All right, actually, staying on that game, you mentioned the Pistons. They're playing tight, solid basketball. But tonight, I know Claff was working on their minutes before it. He's like, "Crap, what do we do with the Pistons? They're kind of thin here." So I don't know. I guess just talk through their rotation and some of their issues, because they're without Killian, Frank Jackson, Hamidou Diallo, McGruder, and Beef Stew tonight. Obviously a lot of Cade. Should be about a good amount of Corey Joseph, but I guess talk through the rest of their situation.
Yeah, Corey Joseph's mint should be pretty safe. Saban Lee is going to back him up. Saban Lee is not the threat that Killian Hayes is with Killian out, so should see pretty good minutes there. They want to play Isaiah Livers, so he should get some pretty good playing time. They might run a little bit of Marvin Bagley-Olynyk overlap, especially in this matchup, right? So something to keep an eye on there. Bagley was not good in his last game. Terrible matchup today against the Boston defense, number 1 since 2022 started. But I think Livers would be a guy that get consistent minutes. You're not going there, but he would be the guy they call upon. They want him to shoot a lot of threes, and they're going to want spacing out here. So definitely looking for him to fill a pretty decent role in this spot.
Yeah, obviously a bad matchup with Boston for pretty much everyone here, but that said, they're going to be thin. They might be relevant for DFS. So
you can get a lot of minutes out of Grant, a lot of minutes out of Bay. So if you do play into this game and you're hoping it's tight, despite I think it's one of the bigger spreads, 14 or something. So it's one of the biggest spreads on the slate. So, but they have played him well. So maybe they can hang in there.
Yeah, I think Pistons plus the points are somewhat interesting as a bet.
Yeah, I'd never been against Boston.
I don't think I'd go there either. But I would think I would look at it. 2 more items here. Magic almost back to full health here. We saw Suggs did play off the questionable tag the other night. They don't really have. Who do they have on the? Yeah, just Bol and Isaac. Yeah. They are who they're playing. Minnesota, right. So that could be a fun game, man, for DFS purposes too. I guess with them being pretty much fully healthy. Any changes in or any changes overall that you see in the rotation moving forward here as they kind of are trying to compete but also trying to tank at the same time?
Yeah, so this is the first time actually that they're going to have this many players available. Claff and I were talking about this, and we're projecting 11 guys in, and just like piecing it together. It sounds like Mosley's going to sit someone out and go 10 and just like rotate through who the 10th guy is. So that to me is Gary Harris, Terrence Ross, possibly getting cut down, maybe Mo Wagner and smaller stuff. I don't think they take Chuma out. Don't think they take RJ Hampton out.
Right.
And I say this because we've seen Suggs was hurt for a little bit, and then Fultz has been sitting kind of the other games. So this is the first time we're really getting a look when with all their guys that besides Bol and Isaac are available. So there's upside concern here on minutes. We haven't seen any Suggs Fultz overlap, so that's a direct concern to Suggs. Although Jamal Mosley was saying that he eventually wants to mix him in, so maybe that comes in this spot. So pretty murky, man. And the Wolves defense is pretty bad, so it's definitely a spot to attack. Although Anthony Edwards has been playing better on ball defense, so I don't really like it for the guards, but I could see the front court guys, especially if Vanderbilt sits, put up some good numbers.
Yeah, in my opinion, it would make most sense to take out one of these veterans, either Harris or Ross, if he is going to cut down something. I guess Mo Wagner would be somewhat interesting. Obviously, he's not a straight up veteran, but he's not as important to both their short and long term future. But just as far as kind of where their depth lies, it would make sense to take out Ross or Harris. And I would keep an eye there. The other thing I wanted to check on, I think someone wrote it in chat. KP, we've seen him pretty hard cap first couple games. Again, that's the 10:30 spot. Do you expect that cap to rise here a little bit or still be pretty hard?
A little bit. I think if I didn't do the minutes, but I'd probably put it at like 27, 28.
That's exactly what we have. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get to 30. Wes Unseld said, where my quotes at? Said he's, quote, still getting his legs under him. And he doesn't want him attacking. He's like, yeah, we want to get his legs under him. We don't really feel comfortable with him doing that. So, pretty concerning, but really good matchup. So I haven't seen his price, but if his price is, in the 6s or low 7s, I think it's somewhat attractive.
Yeah, I'm not on the DFS show, so I'll give you guys just a sprinkle of my advice. I would be playing some Porzingis in large field GPPs today.
Nice. You're writing top plays, so you get
I'm writing top plays. I'm in the middle of it right now, but I've turned 30 on Monday, so having a little birthday celebration with some friends tonight.
Awesome.
And I will be out of the NBA loop, but watching kind of out of a side eye. All right. Well, I think that just about covers it. Anything else I missed, Mike?
What did I want to add? There's some other... Clippers. So Ty Lue, we know he didn't say anything before games, but he said after the game that Terrence Mann was playing through illness, and that was part of the reason why he got benched.
Right.
Take that for whatever you like. Also said he was trying to cut down Reggie Jackson and Marcus Morris's minutes in the back-to-back, and Marcus Morris plays 35 minutes. Cut down Reggie Jackson's minutes, plays 40 minutes. So, good old Ty Lue. I hate this matchup though. Both these teams are playing great defense. Clippers are one of the best half-court defenses since the break started. Since the break, so pretty ugly matchup in my opinion. But
Clippers are in Atlanta with a 7:30 start, so you should get whatever starting lineup that looks like early on. But I thought you were onto something in the solo pod the other day about kind of just the Galaxy Brain stuff with Paul George and Zamir Coffee. Go listen. I'm not going to give it away. Go listen to our ETR NBA pod, Mike and Dink, but Mike too when he does the solo pods, just crushing over there.
Yeah, I always like to just. I mean, I'm probably way off base because he's and I found out after I recorded that he's only limited to shooting 17-foot jumpers. He can't shoot more than 17 feet.
That's so strange.
What a number.
What if he did 18? What if he did 17 and a half? What would happen?
It's like, he's out for 2 weeks. But it's crazy because he was shooting like there was a video of him with Terrence Mann going through motions, and he was shooting fadeaways. I feel like a fadeaway jumper at 15 feet would exert more energy than
That's exactly what I'm thinking. What the pressure on your elbow at 17 feet as opposed to 20 feet is that much different? I don't understand.
No sense.
Whatever.
Whatever. I'm sure it makes some sense to somebody somewhere. But
thanks, Dynasty. I appreciate that. And so I'll be off for a while from the shows, but I appreciate all of you guys tolerating me all week as you've seen me all over the place. Hope you've enjoyed a lot of Gary and Gallagher time. And
been killing it.
Yeah, it's been great. And Gallagher and I will be in person next week. I'm in Phoenix in a couple of days. I'm looking forward to hanging out with Mike in person. Maybe we'll do a live Twitter Spaces or something while we're
we'll do something for sure.
Anyway,
trying to I think that's everything.
I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's just about it.
But I think Van Vliet's minutes will come up. Kind of a bad matchup. I almost wanted to go to that game, but I was like, I'm going to the game with you next week. I'll just
for sure.
I'll save my money.
Week from tonight, we got Phoenix, Chicago in Phoenix. We're gonna hit up.
It's gonna be fun.
All right. Good luck to everyone on your games tonight. Please do like this video, subscribe to all the free stuff we're giving to you in front of the paywall. Come back at 5:00. You'll see Mike and Drew behind the paywall for the NBA DFS show. If you're a subscriber, if you're not subscribed, feel free to get in. We have some, weekly deals I know running for NBA DFS for props. We continue to crush props. Get involved while you can. We got a month left of the regular season. If you're not involved,
we added a weekly package too. So if you're itching to get into prop streets, today's a really good day to do it. There's a lot of games.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Do it now.
Get involved.
Now.
All right. Okay, everybody. Have a great rest of your Friday.